How can you justify changing something last minute?
A week before.
A week before. A week before, seriously.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with this 2 days out physique update from the mutant Nick Walker, looking like the final boss of this upcoming Mr. Olympia. And yes, I know this is the ideal gym lighting, but the man looks pretty damn amazing. So at 3 days out from the prejudging, the man is roughly 8 pounds heavier compared to his stage weight at the Pittsburgh Pro or the New York Pro. And he's 100% gonna lose a bit more weight the night before the prejudging. So that means there won't be a huge jump, at least on the scale, in terms of Nick Walker's stage weight, which might be a good thing, because trying to come in too big, too heavy, that could also pose a risk, especially in terms of Nick Walker showing up with a bigger, wider waistline, and that is something that the mutant just simply cannot afford. Now you have to agree that this is the most conditioned Nick Walker has ever looked throughout his career. So he also showed his abs to Milos Sarcev, and as always, they are looking very deep, very separated, and very defined. So no wonder why he was so confident that he is going to beat Samson Dauda in the abs and thigh shot. So there was this one moment from the athletes meeting where Nick Walker and Bob Shikaralo, they shake hands, and we saw how Nick versus Bob, that became one of the biggest storylines, one of the biggest controversy of this entire competition season. So the one thing that Bob would be desperately praying for is that the mutant, he doesn't win the Olympia, as he will have to be the one to announce him as the champion and also to interview him. So this has been an amazing prep for the mutant. Everything clicked to almost perfection after he almost won the Pittsburgh Pro and after he won the New York Pro. So he has been the most vocal person throughout this year's Olympia prep that he's gonna win this show. So let's see whether he can live up to his own expectations. But let me know what you guys think. Can the mutant make history? Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am.
It gets views, and it gets hype, and it gets negative criticism. So I'm disappointed, but let's focus on what we can do in that time frame. If we're able to hit the height in the weight category, then great. But
So someone from Mike Samson's camp did came out to address this whole height thing and weight controversy, and it is none other than Mike's coach, Neil Hill. So prior to that interview, we saw no panic in Mike's camp in terms of making the weight. But Neil Hill clearly said that the IFBB Pro League changing the rule and making all the classic physique pros go through the same height measurement process one more time, which they weren't supposed to do before this controversy came under light. And as per him, that is totally unfair to their guy. I mean, he's a bit right though. There would have been no height measurement done at the Olympia this year if it wasn't for all the social media and the bodybuilding pages continuously highlighting this height issue.
all right, we spent months and months, not just with weight, but with height. We stepped on scales, and we stepped on the measuring stick last year's Olympia. Did we have any control over that? Are you sure? Did we have any control over that? Were we measuring? No. That measuring stick comes down. Where did it go? On the top of the athlete's head, correct? Did we ask for that? No, but that's what it was, yes?
Yeah.
Did anyone have anything under their feet?
No, I don't think so.
Did anyone have anything on top of their hair?
I don't think so.
So my point is that we were told at last year's Olympia that once you are heighted, that's your fixed height.
That's okay.
So we did nothing. So we never did anything all year or since the last show to prep for this.
And on the other hand, the IFBB did nothing wrong by implementing any rule because they want this process to be very transparent. But just going by the body language of Neil Hill, it is quite possible that they're ready for a plan B. So what if they measure everyone, including Mike, from their scalp and not his hair? Now that would make things very difficult for a guy like Mike, since the number they were targeting to make the weight cutoff for many weeks now, the number can potentially be altered and he has to lose some muscle and some more weight to get down to his weight cap.
I think Samson's gonna win too.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. I like Samson. Every time I look at him, I'm like, you could be leaner.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I shouldn't look at a Mr. Olympia and be like, you could be leaner.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, if this had been last year, I probably would have said the same thing.
So this is a totally different peak week for the 6 times former Olympia champion, Chris Bumstead. And as a person who was so heavily involved with the pro-level bodybuilding, his predictions do matter, and that too a lot. And guess whom did he pick? The defending champion Samson Dauda as the favorite to win this year's Olympia title. And as per the old tradition, Samson Dauda will be the last man to walk out on the stage come Olympia this year. And if we dissect Cbum's statement that he always looked at Samson Dauda and thought that he could be leaner, well, that is enough to make a case for Samson Dauda winning this year's Olympia title, since the man did exactly what he was asked throughout this year. And he's finally coming in more detailed, more shredded, more ripped than ever before, which can be game changer for him, given that he doesn't lose any pop and any wow factor come Olympia time. Now Samson also got a huge sponsorship from Gymshark, which was announced just hours ago. So all the good things that are happening to Samson. So the defending Olympia champion, he will solidify his legacy as a very dominant Olympia champion if he wins this show.
Newcomers coming in and trying to steal your shine.
Well, I'm really coming in to steal their shine. I'm coming in to shake things up, you know.
Right.
I'm trying to bring the physique to realize, oh man, here he is again.
Still rocking.
So that's what I'm coming to shake things up.
Some great scenes of 2 Olympia champions, Derek Lunsford and Brendan Carey, training under the same roof just a couple of days before the Olympia. So if there has been an Olympia champion who never got the appreciation that he 100% deserves, that's Brendan Carey. Even back in 2020, when Carey was the returning champion, when he was the defending champion, and Phil Heath made the announcement that he's making his comeback, literally everyone, they started trolling Brendan Carey that Phil is gonna smoke him. Now the results of that show, they were opposite of that, as Brendan placed second behind Big Ramy, beating Phil Heath, and he got another second place finish in 2021 as well. So he has been one of the best bodybuilder of the last decade or so. And we hardly heard anyone mention Brendan Carey during this year's Olympia build-up, despite him looking pretty damn awesome at the Arnold Ohio this year and then at the Battle of the Olympia video. Now we obviously cannot expect Brendan to show up at his all-time best the same way he did for the Arnold Ohio back in 2019. But do not forget that Brendan this time had a full-blown off-season, which is something that he hasn't done in the past 3 or 4 years. He stayed huge all throughout this year, and the man still has got an awesome shape and one of the best flow in the men's open right now. So we did not see any physique update during the last 10 weeks or so. So he's a big question mark on where he's gonna land come Olympia this year. So he was top 9 last year at the Olympia. And can we all agree that Brendan, if he shows up looking the same, the way he did for the Arnold Ohio, he's definitely moving up a couple of spots at the very least. So regardless of where Regan Grimes places at this year's Mr. Olympia, he clearly isn't on anyone's radar, and he's extremely happy with the progress that he has made in these last 4 months or so after doing Toronto Pro. So this has been the most motivated and the most focused Regan has ever been throughout his pro bodybuilding career. And he looks pretty damn impressive in the latest physique update that he just posted. Now for Regan, it's all about having the quad sweep in those front shots, because at this point it seems like that the chest on him, that is gonna look relatively bigger and fuller compared to his last showings, which is a very positive sign. Now his back isn't a problem, that is so wide and so thick, with some of the best looking hamstrings and the glutes in the men's open bodybuilding, that you can make an argument about Regan being extremely competitive even against the top 6 in those back shots. So the missing link in his physique, they are his quads from the front, and if he has brought them up, that will allow him to create an awesome X-frame and amazing V-taper. So Regan has been one of the most aesthetic, one of the most beautiful physique in the men's open And that is the case this year too, in this year's lineup. So this is the most competitive he has ever been. And still, he isn't in the top 10 in 99% of the predictions being made. Same was the case in my predictions too. And that just goes to show you the depth of the lineup come Olympia this year. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video. And smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.